Now, for a broader look at some of these developments, how House Democrats got to this point, what's next for them, for the Republicans, and for the president. Again, our Lisa Desjardins is on Capitol Hill, tracking the latest, and White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor is following the president at the UN General Assembly in New York. Welcome to you both. Lisa, to you first. What a difference a day makes. Help me understand. With a few exceptions, the facts that were on the table yesterday are largely the same facts that are on the table today. How did this change so dramatically?
That's a great question, William. I think talking to Democratic aides, even those most closely involved in the decisions today, did not expect things to move quite this quickly. I do think a sign of the blowing kind of momentum was that letter from the 7 House Democratic freshmen. They weren't just any freshmen. They really were seen as almost holdouts on the question of impeachment. And they also are seen as having some of the most credibility when it comes to national security. So when they came out as a group late last night saying, we think it's time to move further on impeachment, if these accusations are true about the whistleblower, we think that is impeachable, which was actually sort of skipping a step from where the rest of Democrats have been. I think that really was just part of a wave of growing momentum over the weekend. And because of that, a dam that was breaking became more visibly breaking today for House Democrats. To me, the bigger question is, William, what exactly happened today? What does any of this mean, really, right? And I think the headline is that Democrats in the House are moving to impeachment proceedings, whatever you want to call them. Nancy Pelosi is now on board that effort. And here's another interesting thing, William, as we all try to get our hands around what is happening. I asked for some timeline information, got it from only one member, Pramila Jayapal, who's an important member of the House Judiciary Committee, Democrat from Washington State. William, she said, the point is we're going to now move more quickly on this question. It will not be a matter of months, she said. It will be faster than that.
I know you, Lisa, you've also been talking with Republican members as well. You heard Congressman Harris just now putting his defense forward. What are the other House members you're talking to saying about all this?
And just in the past few minutes, we've seen responses from House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy and Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. Both of them are putting out a message that they think this is just another attempt to overturn the Trump presidency from their point of view. It's important that McCarthy is also going a step farther. He's saying that he doesn't think Nancy Pelosi has the power to declare this an official inquiry, that to do that requires a vote by the full House. So we're going to see some real process debate coming up. But I think when you talk about the merits, more importantly, William, there seem to be two main camps of Republicans, those ardent defenders of the president, as we heard from a few minutes ago. But then I think most Republicans right now are not sure what to make of this. One of the more philosophical members I talked to, Mac Thornberry, told me he is concerned about what this does for the dialogue to the country, and that if there is just a continuing shouting over impeachment, he's not sure how one issue over another can be separated. So there's a little bit concern about what this could do for divide.
We certainly have a lot of other moving pieces in this. The president says he's going to release the transcript of this call. We still haven't seen the whistleblower's complaint, but we know the Director of National Intelligence testifies Thursday. What are some of the other steps you might see?
I think that's right. We also are told by the House Intelligence Chairman, as reported, he's hoping that the whistleblower themselves will appear before the committee. That would be in a closed session. So there will be more information that does put Democrats in an interesting position, that they're moving forward. They're taking a big step before they have all the information, but they're confident, based on what they already know, not just in this investigation, but in several investigations, that it's time to move up, ramp up their steps on impeachment. But you know, William, the end game here for impeachment is the Senate. And the House is taking a big step here. House Democrats are making a big statement today. But ultimately, for a president to be convicted, the Senate has to get on board. And right now, the Senate's nowhere near that. But House Democrats seem to believe that now there is enough evidence to build a stronger case, if not taking the president out, at least convincing voters perhaps to vote against him next year.
Yamiche, turning to you, obviously there's this growing army of Democrats saying we need to start this formal inquiry. The Speaker seems to be behind that. You're with the president. How is the president and the White House reacting to all of this today?
The president is responding to Democrats saying that they're going to be opening a formal impeachment inquiry against him by lashing out at them. He's saying that this is part of a continued witch hunt, and that this really started with the Russia investigation and continues on now. He's been tweeting and talking about this all day. He essentially says that he's the victim of, quote, presidential harassment. He also accused Democrats of trying to ruin and demean his day here at the United Nations. I've been also emailing with the White House press secretary, Stephanie Grisham. She said that Democrats were trying to weaponize politics. But then I asked her, I said, well, how are you going to push back on this impeachment inquiry, and how are you going to deal with all of this? And she said, well, we're going to be releasing the transcript of that call, and that's going to put all this to bed. That's going to make all of this look ridiculous. But of course, Democrats are asking for the actual whistleblower complaint. That's much different than just a transcript. So this is really going to be something that's going to continue to develop, and the White House is still trying to put together their plan.
We saw the president today was also touting his approval rating amongst the GOP and tweeting out that percentage. Obviously, we have an election coming. That seems to be the sort of low rumble underneath all of this. Does the president see that this is a threat to him, or does he see that this might be a benefit to him?
Impeachment is really a double-edged sword for President Trump. On the one hand, publicly, he's saying that impeachment would be positive for him. It would help him get reelected by energizing his voters. But privately, people that are close to the president are also very worried about whether or not this is going to be too distracting for him, that he's going to be so focused on impeachment and the impeachment inquiries that he's not going to be focused on what Republicans want to get done in their time in office. Now, I've also been talking to people at the campaign, and the campaign was actually fundraising off of this idea that the president might be impeached. They were collecting money and asking supporters for money for what they were calling an impeachment defense task force. The other thing to note is that the campaign manager, Brad Parscale, the campaign manager of President Trump's 2020 election bid, he was actually saying that this is going to, again, mobilize voters here. Now, I should say there are risks on both sides, and I've been talking to Democratic sources and Republican sources all day who essentially were saying we got here because people were really worried about whether or not this was going to be something good for either party. So what we're going to see is really risks on both sides, and people really trying to figure out whether or not this is going to be good for their party.
All right, Yamiche and Lisa, thanks for bringing us up to speed.